Welcome to Childcare Rockstar Radio. I am your host, Kris Murray. Childcare leaders around the globe are breaking through challenges, leading the way in innovation, testing new best practices, and impacting children and families in a much more powerful and positive way than ever before. Each week, join me for interviews with early childhood leaders and experts that will leave you inspired to become the next childcare rockstar. Now, let's go. This is episode 204 of Childcare Rockstar Radio, featuring Whitney Burkman. Okay, Whitney Burkman is really something else. She is young, talented, and just lovely. And you're going to love meeting her here on the podcast today. Hey, folks, I'm Kris Murray, your host of Childcare Rockstar Radio. Welcome back. And we are smack dab in the middle of summer-ish when this episode releases. And if you're with me live, I hope that you are just enjoying the summer of 2025. There's a lot of uncertainty out there, and it can feel very quicksand-like in our world right now. So if you're feeling stressed and anxious from all the uncertainty, I want to come alongside you and give you a big hug and let you know that it's going to be okay. No matter what you're going through, the universe is here for you and here to support you. It might not feel like that sometimes, but want to thank you for tuning in and taking a chunk of time to be with me today in this possibly chaotic world of yours. And so Whitney Burkman is going to feel really good for this episode to you if you're in a place of chaos, because she's very calming. She is one of the youngest guests I've ever had on an episode here on the podcast. She's I would say, Gen Z childcare center owner out of Payson, Utah at Magnolia Academy. And she has full enrollment. She's extremely successful, started in her home. And so if you're looking for a model of someone who is a young go-getter, but also just bringing her creative energy and her beauty and her calmness to the creation of playing a bigger game, from an in-home center to a beautiful school with 125 children, fully enrolled to capacity. And she opened her center in 2022. So you're going to learn all about her journey, and I'm sure you're going to be quite inspired. She is a young inspiration to our industry, and I can't wait for you to meet her. Personally, I am kind of relaxing into the middle summer dog days of summer and just enjoying this Colorado vibe that we got going on here up in the mountains. Live music, spending time in my garden, fresh flowers in the house. I've got some behind me and from the garden, and enjoying time with my family. My mother's coming to visit. My son is turning 23, and enjoying my kids, enjoying all the love that I have around me, and enjoying you. So hopefully everything is going well in your world, and you're enjoying some travel, some time off, and then getting ready for planning your fall enrollment. It's never too early to start advertising for your fall enrollment. And especially if you start school back in August, as many states do, it's time to pull up the old bootstraps, as it were. And you're going to get some really cool inspiration from this podcast on your marketing, how to stay full, how to get full, how much should you be investing, specific tools that you can be using, and software and strategies, and all the things in terms of your advertising. So got to be advertising and using social media to stay full, and really being out there in front of parents in new, unique, fun, creative, innovative ways, and to capture their attention and their imagination and their business. So without any further ado, all of those topics will be discussed right here, right now, with Ms. Whitney Burkman. Let's go. Welcome back, folks. Very excited to introduce you to my guest today here on the podcast. is Whitney Burkman. Whitney, how are you?
I'm doing great. Finally, summer.
Yep. We're vibing the beginning of summer.
Yes.
Where are you right now physically?
I'm in my home in Utah. So beautiful summer right now. It's super green. Love it.
Awesome. And where in Utah are you?
So I'm about an hour south of Salt Lake. So I'm in a little small town called Payson, Utah.
Payson.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm familiar with Payson. You're only about a 5-hour drive from me right now.
Oh, yeah. You're in Denver?
I'm in Glenwood Springs.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, you're not too far then.
No, not at all. Um, in fact, we're coming your direction in about 3 weeks. My boyfriend and I are going to Salmon, Idaho in the third week of June to go raft the Middle Fork of the Salmon River.
So fun. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, so fun. I've never done that, but Idaho's beautiful. So we have family that live there, so we love Idaho.
I'm excited. Tell us more about your business, the name of it and the size. How's your enrollment? Anything you want us to know, facts or figures about your business?
Yeah, so we are Magnolia Academy Childcare Center. We're just outside of Salt Lake City, so we're in Sandy, Utah. We are licensed for 125, and the name, I've flowers are just kind of like my thing. And so I really didn't have like a whole lot of inspiration behind the name, but I knew I wanted to be different. Just because I feel like in today's world, we're not really marketing for children, we're marketing towards parents. So I really wanted to grab like the modern name to help me market. So that's kind of, yeah, Magnolia just kind of came to mind. So no inspiration there. We actually are at 122 enrollments. So we do hit 125, and then like we had 2 people move or somebody who isn't going to come for the summer. So I feel like we're always bouncing right between that 120, 125 number. So
Well, that's amazing. That's an incredibly healthy place to be.
yes,
And yeah.
not easy getting there, but I'm super happy with the outcome. So
Awesome. And how long have you owned your school?
yeah, so we are brand new. So we opened in 2020. Oh wait, sorry. I had my in-home. Okay, so backstory, I started as an in-home provider, but I got my center in 2022.
Okay, cool. And how did you do as an in-home provider during COVID? Did you still stay operational or did you close for a while?
No, I stayed open. I feel like during COVID, Utah was probably one of the least restricted states, I feel like.
Right. Yeah.
You could still go out. I feel like not a whole lot of things closed. And
Mhm.
so I stayed open. I was in a town right next to Payson at the time, and we had a lot of like lawyers and doctors. So we still had those parents who had to go to work. And so
Yep.
stayed open.
Cool.
Yeah.
Um, when you opened your center in 2022, what was the driving force? I mean, obviously, maybe make more money, serve more children, go bigger, play a bigger game.
Right.
What were some of the things that were driving you to open a school of 125 capacity?
Right. So really there was no financial motivation behind it. I think the biggest factor was I wanted to get my business out of my home. At the time, I had 3 children. And so we were looking for different commercial buildings. I I just was tired of working and living in my home.
Mhm.
Um, and also I felt like I really got down being an in-home provider. Like it wasn't serving me anymore.
Mhm.
We were full every single day, and I created like a wait list of over 30 children. And I was like, wow, I need to get a bigger space. So
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's
nothing.
that's a lot of kids in a home, 30 kids.
So I was licensed for 16. The the nice part about my in-home was my living spaces were separate. So I did my in-home in the basement and I lived upstairs. But still, it was just like even if I wasn't working and I was upstairs, I could still hear children down there. So I could never separate it.
Right. Cool. Well, sounds like you're doing amazing things in the industry with Magnolia Academy, and I'm sure Utah is very appreciative to have you. So when did you actually start in the early learning field?
So my background so I went to college out in Nebraska. I went there on a softball scholarship, and my whole plan was to go into special education. That's kind of where I knew I was going to be. I was going to be a teacher. When I got out to college, all the way in Nebraska, I actually got super homesick. And so I stopped attending and I came home for a little bit, trying to figure out, I just worked and tried to figure out what I wanted to do. And then I got into actually aesthetics field and I loved it, but it didn't really serve me. I felt like it wasn't really what I was meant to do in life. Um, and so then I got married and I had a baby and I was like, wow, I feel like, I don't know, my desire just was to always work with children once I got into high school. And so, yeah, I feel like I just kind of went from there when I became a mom. So, yeah.
Mhm. So you opened up your in-home childcare program when you had a baby, and
Mhm.
all been an amazing journey since then.
Yeah, so it's been great. It's provided a lot for our family. And I think really most importantly, it's allowed me to stay home and really be with my children as they're young. And I think that's like the part I appreciated the most out of it.
Mhm.
Was I was really lucky to be able to work with my children, but also provide an income for my family at that time.
Awesome. And what are some of the things that you feel set your business apart? How is Magnolia Academy different from its competitors?
Great question. I feel like that it's really hard because we have to all follow the same state regulations. I feel like it is a little bit trickier to be different, but I feel like I've really been able to pull in that in-home feel into my center, which makes us stand out a lot.
Mm.
But also, I've really been trying to um, get my teacher's headset and mindset into not being babysitters or nannies or even teachers. We are creating the next generation. And so, really making them be leaders. I feel like that's really shaped our center to who it is, or yeah, who we are today is creating, you know, this next generation of children and ensuring they have a safe place. So our communication and our relationships with our parents is what really set us apart.
Cool. What is the size of your team? How many employees do you have?
So we have, I feel like it kind of fluctuates. Right now we're at our highest, so we're at 22. So I have 22 employees. We have a cleaner, we have a cook, and then um, I have three admin teams. So I have my director, my assistant director, and then I have an office manager, and then the rest are teachers. So we're
And how
pretty.
much time are you spending in physically in the business on a typical week?
So luckily, this summer, I was a I felt like full time site owner. The first 3 years of starting this center it is not easy. It's not for the weak. And so I was there so much, full time, every day. Um, but at the end of April, I wasn't really looking for an assistant director to kind of take my spot. And we ended up pulling one of our lead teachers up to the admin spot to kind of do my role. And so as of the end of April, I am an offsite owner. So I am so happy with that because I've been working so hard to get to this point.
Mhm. Well, huge congratulations.
Thank you.
That's amazing. Um, Tell me about the shifts that you've had to make in your habits or in your mindset with regard to when you went from being an in-home owner to an actual center owner. And there's a ton of people who listen to this podcast that are in your exact same shoes, that are still actually in their homes,
Yeah.
or these have a dream and a vision to shift to a center and expand. So what does it take in terms of like, you know, I'm sure you've had the struggles and challenges, but what are the key things that have enabled you to make that shift?
I think one of the things that I struggled with so bad at the beginning was um I like I'm such a personal person. Like I take everything to heart. I'm super sensitive. And so coming from my in-home where I had full control of everything, my my parents were like my friends. Our kids all played together. Um, and we never had like any complaint, or it was just like it was like a dream, you know? And so when I went to a center, I had like a huge kind of wake up call. It was like, I'm serving 125 children. I can't be friends with all these people and family, and my kids aren't, you know. So I think one of the things that I really had to change was not take anything so personal. And it's not me. Like, yes, my business is me, but this is like Magnolia. So I had to really separate myself to the business, run a business. I'm not marketing myself, I'm marketing my business. And so I think that is probably the biggest thing is I had to put my feelings and my personal life aside and really just like this is a business.
Yeah, for
So,
sure. That identity piece of identifying yourself as the business is huge. And then developing a thicker skin so that if people do criticize the business, that you don't take it personally.
yes.
That's a huge one.
I
I
yeah,
had definitely, the business was built around me. So I definitely, even people would call it Chris Murray coaching instead of
right.
academy coaching. So yeah, when it's criticized, it's definitely hard sometimes to,
Yeah, and you're not going to have every single family that walks in the door that loves you. Um that's why there's different centers around us, and that's why there's different, childcare centers. And it was really hard for me to remove, okay, not everybody is going to love me because maybe I don't offer something that they're looking for, and that's okay. And
yes.
so that was really hard for me to swallow, like just to get over that.
Well, that's a good lesson to learn. And I think that now that you're offsite, it'll help too,
Yes.
to um, just create that boundary or that separation or just setting it up more like a business.
Yes. And I actually feel like everything has been running so much better um, without me there. And I mean, it's my life. So it makes sense why I take everything so personal and I want everything to be like my way. Um, but I needed to really be open to, what my directors say and what my office managers say. And so kind of removing myself from like not taking control of everything has really, I feel like our program has just far exceeded just giving trust into my teachers and my directors and letting them do what they're supposed to do.
Awesome. Why don't you share with us what you got going on in your home life in terms of ages of your child or children, what you and your hubby, I'm assuming you're married,
Yeah.
are into, interests, hobbies, anything that you want to share about yourself.
Yeah, our life is um super chaotic, but in the most lovey, happy way. So we have four boys. We have a 9-year-old, and then we have twin 6-year-olds. And then we have a 19-month-old. So we are in the thick of it and we love it, but it's definitely not easy. My husband actually has his own business as well. He actually opened 3 or 4 months before I opened Magnolia, the center. And so our life has been pure chaos in the best way, though.
Yeah.
I wouldn't trade it for anything. We're not working. You'll find us at the track. Our oldest son races motocross. And so we're there, or we're home getting him to training, or we're, trying to feed everybody. It's just
Yeah.
this.
And he's 9 years old and races motocross?
Yes. Yes. So fun.
Oh my God. I had no idea that 9-year-olds did that.
Yeah. I think they can start, I want to say 3 years old, 3 or 4 years old.
Really?
Yes. So it's the best thing to watch.
That's
These
hilarious.
4-year-olds get on these dirt bikes and race.
Oh
It's
my God.
so fun. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. So I asked Whitney before we went live with the camera if that was a fake background or her real background, because her home is so beautiful, as you guys can see. We're watching it on YouTube. And so I also have to give you major props that you have such a beautiful home with 4 boys, 4 young boys. So way to go.
Thank you. It doesn't always look like this.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But I feel like I'm a pretty strict mom in a good way. We have rules, we have expectations. We don't get to run around. We don't get to eat in the living room. And I feel like you don't see that as much anymore, sadly.
Right.
And so, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's good that you're providing structure, and that is really good. That will make your parenting journey easier, and it will also hopefully save your beautiful furniture from spills, and also it will help your boys be raised where they can be great husbands to their wives.
Yes. I mean, when you have 4 boys, it's all on me, right? How they grow up, that's how they're shaped, who they become, that's on me. So we got to put some structure into the home.
Oh, love it. Let's talk about what you're doing for your marketing and anything that you either have put into place over the last year or two. Obviously, you're fully enrolled, so your school might just speak for itself and doesn't need a lot of marketing, or you might be using a CRM, or you might be doing email, or you might be doing, I don't know, whatever you're doing. You might be doing local community stuff to get your name out there. So just talk a little bit more about what you're doing that helps your branding.
Yes. So the biggest marketing we use is GYC. I've been using them for quite some time, actually. I can't put a date on it, unfortunately. But they have been doing my marketing for a while. And funny story, a couple months ago, GYC is expensive. There's a reason why they're expensive though. And I was like, okay, where can I cut back? My marketing is kind of high, a little bit higher than most. I actually went onto the Academy group Facebook page and was like, what's everybody's percentage for marketing? And mine was just so high. I was like, oh my gosh. So I was like, I'm going to cut GYC. I'm going to hire somebody to do my marketing, and I'm going to be able to save there. Honestly, it freaked me out. I was like, it's working. Why would I change what's working? Not very many centers around me can say they're at full capacity. So what am I doing? So I cut back a little bit, and obviously in other ways to continue using GYC. But so I use them, and then I also use Instagram. We don't get a whole lot of enrollments from Instagram and Facebook, but we have. It's kind of free. It's kind of a free tool. And we have a pretty large following on our Instagram. So that's helped a little bit. But then also just, so for our CRMs, we use IntelliKids. But I feel like once we get them in the door, that's kind of where we can sell them on. I feel like we've really been able to market in our center to make us stand out a little bit different. So
Yeah. So let's dig into some of this. I love, Whitney, that you brought this up, because on the leadership team over at Grow Your Center GYC, there's me
Mhm.
looking at a lot of the clients who have been having money struggles and have financial issues with grant money drying up, or spending all their grant money and then getting into that oh no moment or whatever,
Right.
or questioning that they are spending a good chunk of money on their marketing and keeping their leads flowing so that they can compete and stay full,
Mhm.
or even get to 80 or 90% full. So one thing that I love that you said is that you, first of all, you questioned it. You looked at your percentage of what you're spending, and then you're full. So what we're seeing people do, that I call is a huge no-no, is
Mhm.
just when you get full, you cut all of your marketing and advertising dollars, because you're like, oh, I'm full, I don't need to spend that money anymore. And then things dry up.
Right.
You turn off the spigot of leads, and then you realize, after you didn't really look at it for a couple months because you went on vacation to celebrate how full you are, and you're like, oh, now I'm down 20 kids again.
Right.
And it's always cyclical.
Yeah.
So enrollment and staffing is always cyclical. So we believe in, and yes, I do believe you can cut your budget a little bit on your ad spend because you're full, but
Right.
to take it off completely would be not a smart business decision. And so
Right.
I tried to coach and counsel people so much on what you're talking about. And so I just give you major props for having your business owner's hat on, and really realizing you need to keep your money picked up off your table. Why would you
Right.
put it back on your table?
Right. Exactly. And um, we were running a lot of ads too, and a lot of campaigns. And so I was like, well, we don't need to run as many. And so we did cut back in that way. So now we are at a percentage where we are fine, and we are still getting tours, and we're still getting enrollments. And
Yep.
so I feel like, and yeah, you're right. You do fluctuate. It's one of probably the biggest business in the world that fluctuates. It's never guaranteed. And so I was so worried to turn it off and come back from, not being on site, and I'm like down how many enrollments, so it made me a little worried to do that.
Yeah. And that's normal. Like, people leave childcare sometimes, they lose their job, or they move, or they decide to take a break, or
Right.
whatever.
Yeah.
So that's great. I love that you're using Instagram and Facebook, and you're using it, sounds like you're just the organic content posting, which is great for your branding, even though it might not feel like you're getting a lot of enrollments from it. You have a following. So people
Yeah.
are seeing your content, and you're in the back of their head,
Right.
like a constant little drip. It's not like you're being salesy over there, but you're showing off your branding and all the cool things you're doing in your school.
Right.
So when people are looking for a referral or a recommendation, or they are talking to a friend, or they'll just they might not tell you the reason why they're in for a tour is Instagram, but it's like back
And
there in
yeah.
their subconscious.
Right. And we do use it for family engagement as well. Um, it's a lot of families at our center use it, and they love it. They love seeing. We haven't been using it as much because it is a full-time job. But when we do use it, they love engaging in the photos, and they love just seeing their children,
Yeah,
interact. So,
big time. That's like a parent's biggest joy, is getting either a daily pic on the app, the parent communication app, or a video, or just hearing about their day, or
yeah,
all of it.
yeah.
So, so good. Awesome. Love that. Um, let's talk about your team. So you became you stepped into a bigger leadership role
Uh,
much more when you shifted and opened your center, and had to build a team of 20 plus people. What have you learned in that journey? What are maybe some of the biggest either challenges you faced or lessons you've learned in your leadership?
oh, I love this. Okay, so I think one of the biggest challenges that um, I have faced, and honestly, every now and then still face is you can't make everybody happy. But I think one of the biggest things is really trying not to make it okay. For example, when we have teachers come to us and, they're don't like this or they don't like that or they want to change their shift, really trying to redirect them that like, we understand your frustrations, we understand this, but this is, this is a business and these families and these parents count on you. This is what we need to do for state licensing or whatever it may be. And instead of making it so personal, trying to really switch the narrative and switch their mindset that it's, at the end of the day, this is a business and these children and these parents count on you. So, trying to make everybody happy has probably been one of the biggest challenges. We recently had a meeting. We do monthly staff meetings. And this staff meeting, I really wanted to come in as and make it more about leadership and how you can be leaders. And so, sorry, one thing we have done is, I guess in the past we get a lot of threats, like teachers, well, if I don't do it this way, or you don't do it this way, or my co-teacher doesn't do it this way, I'm going to quit. And so, kind of getting the threats of quits, I feel like that has been the biggest problem for us. And so during the staff meeting, coming in and really trying to change their minds of, if you don't like something, that's okay, but we can work together as a team. Whether it's your co-teacher or if it's something on the admin, you can go straight to the person and you can work it out and you can be a leader and you can, solve the problem without making a threat to quit. And I think that's really helped us a lot. One of the things I told them is, you're going to go to any job. If you don't like this job, and you go to the next job, there's going to be a job down the road open. So yes, you can take it, but guess what? There's going to be something about that job or that business that you don't like. For me as a business owner, there's things I have to do that I don't like. Any job is going to have just something that you don't like about it or you don't agree with. But you can have a really good attitude and you can work together with admin or co-teacher, whatever it might be, to maybe change it or have a different perspective in what you'd like to change. So I think that's really what we're trying to create, is having that communication with our teachers that they can come to us if there's something that they don't like. They don't have to threaten to quit.
Yes, that's great. I love sharing that being part of your team is there's going to sometimes be things that we don't always agree.
Right.
But this is how we as a team behave with regards to when we have issues. We just work together to resolve them. And if we can't, then we'll cross that road. But we always, 90% of the time we can resolve.
Literally like 98% of the time we can figure something out. Whether we get you a new co-teacher or maybe you're having an issue with a child, maybe we can move them to a different classroom. There's always something we can fix. So
yeah, cool. Love that. I think what you said about feeling like you had to please everyone is just something that we need, at the podcast here, so many of our guests who are childcare owners are natural born people pleasers. So that's okay. Like, I think knowing that we have this people pleasing aspect, but that in some, a lot of cases, like we're never going to please everyone. And so kind of laying that down and shifting into a new way of leading, that just pleasing everyone is not necessarily to their it's not going to serve them if we just continue to please everyone. That's going to, first of all, you're going to be exhausted.
Yeah.
You're going to burn out.
Right.
And then you're going to be good to no one, including your family and your children. And then it's not really good for the employee to also just be pleased. What we want to do as leaders is we want to actually help people become the next best version of themselves.
Right.
So when we just please everyone to try to get it to smooth over and get them not to quit, that is actually the opposite of what you want to do. You want to lovingly challenge, have those hard conversations, get people to empower each other, help them solve their own problems, help them step into their next best, stronger version, help them feel more confident. So that's where the really work. When you said in the beginning, it's not for the faint of heart.
Right.
To me, that's leadership is not for the faint of heart. It's not easy to do all those things. It's much easier just to smooth it over or pretend like everything's fine and shut your door.
Yes.
But that's not really serving people.
No. And I feel like for me, it's really hard too because I'm young. I'm really young. And so a lot of my teachers are older than me. And so it's been really hard and a huge challenge for me to not give in, and not say yes to everything. And it's okay to say no. And they might be upset. I have a teacher. I truly love her. She's been with me since I've opened. So she just hit her 3-year mark. And me and her just are always like we have just really gone at it in a professional way. And it's been really hard to say no. And she really wanted this schedule. No. And well, I'm going to quit. And it's like, okay, if you want to quit, you can. And so it's been really humbling to really see myself say no to these teachers who are older than me.
Yeah.
I think that has been, now that you say that, I think that has definitely been the biggest challenge is I'm young.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah.
Are you in your late 20s?
Well, I just hit 30. So,
Okay.
but when I opened, yeah, I mean, I've been doing this since 2016. And so I feel like I'm a really young owner. I know there's more young owners, but I feel like in my area, especially, I'm very young.
Yes.
Oh,
I would
yeah.
say in the Childcare Success Academy, you're definitely one of our youngest.
Okay. See, yeah. So I'm just a baby, but I might just be a baby, but I feel like I'm really wise and I make
Yeah.
like really great decisions. And so I'm
Yeah.
here.
And you're going on a decade of professional experience. And so it's not, it's not like you've only been in the field for 2 years. Like you know
Yeah.
stuff. You've been around. So
Yeah.
just own it. Love it.
Right. No, I'm like, I can either look at this as like an intimidating thing or I can be an example to people like, oh my gosh, look, like an inspiration towards them. She's so young and um look what she's doing and she has 4 kids. And so I'm really trying to, it takes a lot of therapy, but I'm really trying. It's like imposter syndrome a little bit,
Yes,
like
for
I'm
sure.
really, this is my life. I get to do this. And so, yeah.
Yeah. Imposter syndrome is very normal. I had it for sure when I started my company. And it can be very debilitating and very like get into your whole fear-based mindset and like it can really kind of be difficult, but just keep powering through it and I would say it's great that you're in the academy because you're around all of these amazing humans that are going to help you even grow your confidence and your skills even more.
Yes.
And then as you may or may not eventually want to scale to another location. Is that in your desires and dreams?
Oh, right now, at this moment, I couldn't tell you. I'm super content and I'm super happy.
Cool.
The first 3 years are so brutal.
Yeah.
Just to be very transparent and vulnerable. It's the first 3 years are brutal in this industry and a lot of learning and growing. But at the moment, I'm pretty content. I think it's just because my personal life is, you know, kind of not necessarily holding me back, but I just, I don't want to grow too fast. So, yeah.
That's good. I think that's smart. Um, well, your enrollment's stable, you're full, you're doing great, and you're learning a lot in leadership. You're working on your leadership skills and strength. Um, what's ahead for you in the rest of 2025 and beyond? Just kind of trying to deal with the chaos of the 4 boys and enjoy every day, or anything beyond that?
Well, we're coming to Georgia, right? It's in Atlanta. So we're
Yes.
taking for the first time. I'm able to take my team off site, and so I'm really excited for that.
Cool.
A fun fact: I actually came to the conference in Las Vegas as an in-home provider.
Oh, wow.
And so I was not obviously in the academy, but I can't even remember at the time I was taking my twins to a center down the road and he had kind of told me about it. And so I got my hands on some tickets and I ended up going and I learned a lot actually. I feel like that kind of is what motivated me to go into a center. Um, but yeah, I just went to Phoenix um, at the mastermind and I loved that. I took my office manager and now in October taking my team, and I'm also bringing my husband.
Cool.
He has nothing, he's not really involved in the
Uh-huh.
center. He does all the handyman stuff. I need
Right.
the snow plowed, or I need this fixed, or so he does those things kind of behind scenes. And so I'm excited to take him.
Yeah. It's going to be great. We're going to Atlanta for the Childcare Success Summit 25. I'll give it a shout out that we're going to all be together, and I'm excited to hang out with you, Whitney, and meet your team and your hubby. And
Yeah.
um, we are in a brand new, beautiful hotel, and so it's going to be sparkling and it's going to be great. So I'm really excited. We haven't been to Atlanta with the summit since 2013,
Oh, wow.
so that is a long time. That was only the second summit ever.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So how many summits is this?
This is, I think, 14. Let's see, it started in 12. So 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 14.
Wow. Cool. I love
Yeah.
that.
And then, of course, 2020 was virtual, but we still did do one. So that was great. Lots of people attended that one because everybody was home and they were like, they
Right.
wanted to
Yeah.
do something like feel more community oriented. So that was cool. But I'm really glad you came to Vegas. That was a great summit. It was Marshall Goldsmith as a keynote, and then Stedman Graham and Andre Norman.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Um, and we raised a bunch of money for Andre's cause. And so that was a very, very good one. And I'm glad that you came as an in-home. We definitely have a good, like I would say 20 or 30 family childcare providers usually come to the summit. We'd love to have more.
Yes. I learned a lot. Yeah.
You learned a ton. That's good. And I'm really glad that you're with us in the academy. So did you come? So you didn't come to Chicago. Did you join in I guess, how long have you been in the academy?
So I recently just joined the academy, I think in December,
Okay.
in the middle of this. So the grant money ended. So Utah's grant money ended in September. And I was not even close to full capacity. And I was stressing and I was like, how am I going to do this? And I also had just, had a baby. And so um, actually, what's his name, who used to do my marketing, Stefan?
Yeah.
I remember, yeah. He had mentioned the academy, and I was like, I'm just gonna do it. Like, what do I have to lose? Like, I'm like, I'm at like 65, 70% full. I technically shouldn't be doing this and paying for this, but we're just gonna do it. And I was like, I can't borrow money every month just to make this work. And so I just went for it. And it's been truly life changing, honestly. It has changed my mindset in so many ways. I feel like in this industry, it's really, really easy to get discouraged and only think about negative. And then when you think about negative, it's just negative after negative after negative. And so I really needed something to just kind of pull me out of that. And I feel like the academy saved me from that. And then once I was able to change my mindset, then just everything else fell into place. My enrollments, my staffing, just everything. It's just weird how it works. So
Yeah, it works. Stefan from Grow Your Center referred you in.
yes, yes. He doesn't do my marketing anymore. I think you guys had to do a little switch. Or he was on East Coast. And so
Yeah.
yeah, I loved him.
Yeah, so the Grow Your Center team, we all do everybody's marketing together, but every client is paired with a account manager, an MC,
Right.
marketing consultant. So Stefan was your MC, and now you have a different MC. But yeah. So I love that. So shout out to Stefan. I love him. He's hilarious, and he always wins our fun. We have core value awards, and he always wins the core value for fun because he's in a band. He's a musician.
Oh.
And he's super fun. So
yeah, I really liked him. And I liked my new marketer who you guys call him. I really like him too, but was so fun to have. So
love it. Yeah, we have a great team over there. All right. Is there any final thoughts that you want to share? First of all, I want to say thank you so much for coming on and being with me on this podcast and spending time with myself and our audience. I'm sure everybody has really enjoyed this from a perspective of a young, up-and-coming childcare owner that is doing amazing things in her community. That's how I really see you. And you're making an impact in the world. And I love everything that you're doing. I think you're definitely focused on growing your capabilities, your mindset, and going to your next version, your next level, playing a bigger game, living your best life. So I definitely see all of that in you. And I just want to give you all the props.
Thank you.
And the kudos for that. Yeah.
Thank you.
So, anything ahead for you or any final thoughts you want to share?
No, I'm just excited to see where all the things I learned from the academy, and I'm excited to see what this next year, what we're able to do at Magnolia. And yeah, it's been really fun. It's been a good year. I'm like, I finally deserve this. I finally deserve the good year. So
nice.
Yeah.
Well, I want your deservingness to keep increasing and expanding. And that's something that we are continuing to work on in coaching, is helping all of our members tap into a higher level of deservingness. So keep that in your mindfulness. And how can people find out more about Magnolia Academy and or Whitney? How can
Yes. So go to our Instagram, Magnolia Academy Childcare. You can follow along. We haven't been super active. I'm kind of wanting to. We're more educational, and kind of like a dive into our teachers and all of that. And so you can find us on Instagram there. If you want to follow along my personal life, I'm w.burkman. I don't have a big following or anything. I just post a lot about my life. So if you are curious about what I do with business and my 4 boys and my husband, then you can follow me. But
when being a mother of twins, I'm sure you're friends with other mothers of twins. That seems to be a thing.
Yes. I wish I was more extroverted. I am not an extrovert. So, which is kind of funny because people are like, oh, I would see you as an extrovert. I'm like,
right.
I like to so I don't make a lot of friends, but that's okay.
That's good.
My kids are really extroverted. They make all the friends. So no twin friends yet, but we'll get there.
Yeah, you definitely will. Well, Whitney Burkman, thank you so much for being here today on the podcast. It's been a pleasure. And thanks everybody for tuning in once again to Childcare Rockstar Radio. Take care and God bless. See you next time. I hope you liked this episode of Childcare Rockstar Radio. If you did, please leave a review and share it with someone you know to help spread the word to friends in our industry and on social media. Childcare business success is my passion, and I'm honored to be on this journey with you. As a thank you for listening, I've got a new video training that shows you how to add 6 figures or more of new revenue to your program in the next 60 days by improving your hiring and your enrollment systems. To watch my new video, just go to www.fixmyschool.com. That's fixmyschool.com. Thanks. Take care and God bless.